How's it going, everybody? Got a dangerous saw here. I'll show you where the problems are here in just a second. But we've used this saw blade on this saw rig since 1930 or 40. My grandparents had it, been passed up through. Well, while my father owned it, before he gave it to me, you can see these rusty areas. Now, when this saw slows down in a hard cut, it runs fine, but then when you take the load off of it and it's coming back up to speed, because it runs off an old engine, and they do that, so when it's coming up through, it does this real funny motion. And I believe this is where some of the flex is where the rustiest areas are. What happened was, back about 30, I bet it might have been 35 years ago, we had a cow named Dexter, liked to rub on stuff, an old Holstein, and he came over and he decided this was his itching post, and he'd back up against it every day and rub on it. Well, he knocked the top of this saw over almost 2 inches. So I took it out on the anvil and I massaged that eye area, and I got it so it runs within about 1/16 of an inch. But there's still tension in this blade that shouldn't be there. And this blade is tight. We've never loosened it. And if you can see, I don't know if that'll show it or not, but you can see where this looks like it might have been moving a little bit around the edge. This is that saw dish doing some funny things. Anyway, we're gonna take this one off. I picked up a friend of mine. I was over to his house yesterday and I happened to ask him about a blade, and he says, well, I know just what you need. And this thing's got a lot of surface rust on it, but it's never been run since it was sharpened. And it is very, very sharp. I just took the duct tape off it. It had been sitting in a chicken house for 25, 30 years. But I'm going to just sand that up a little in the eye. And we're going to put this on that arbor. Now, I'm not 100% sure if this here is 1 3/8. I'm not sure if the one that's on the arbor there is 1 1/4 or 1 3/8. I might have to make a ring for that, but I believe I got one made for some of my other saws, so I probably got one in stock. Yeah, but the big problem is this is a 35-inch blade, probably started life as a 36, and this blade over here is a 32-inch blade. So needless to say, right in here we have an interference problem. So I'm gonna take this off. We'll knock this blade off, and probably knock the blade off first, and then we won't beat these points all up. I'm not sure whether or not I'm gonna try to mess with this and get some more tension out of it, or maybe give it to a blacksmith that makes knives or something. I'm not really sure. A lot of good steel in it, you know, it's very good steel, but like I say, I'm kind of scared of it. I figure I keep pushing my luck. I don't want this to break in the eye, and you know, because once it starts cracking, it'll happen fast. And kind of leery of it. So I'm going to get rid of it before somebody gets hurt. That's why I think I might even take the torch and cut it in two. But then again, there are people that want to paint on them and stuff. I don't know. We'll cipher that out when we get it off and study it over. But anyway, I'll be back in a few minutes here when I get set up with my stuff. I think that might, if that's a 2-inch, it'd be the same as my bell saw. So I got to see. Yeah, I got a tape measure right here. Well, I might be able to go in and grab the bell saw. I got a hammer wrench for that. That looks like 2-inch to me. So I think we got the right tool right in here. We'll go in here and see what we can find. Look at that. If that is a 2-inch, which, you know, it's going to be close if I measured it right. Yeah, we can slap that and take that right off. So anyway, I'm going to shut you off here while I get a few things set up, and we'll be talking to you. How's it going, everybody? We're back again. I got some tools here. We'll take this off and we'll see if the eye of that saw is the same as this one. That's going to be the big clincher, really. Wow. Man, oh man. That is tight. Well, maybe that's not going to be so easy. That is a right hand thread. Yeah, so. I want to say it was close to 15 years ago that I had that blade off, quite a while ago. Yeah, this one's frigged up. So we'll see here, give it a little love here. Let's see what happens. Guess I didn't have to worry about that nut coming off. See that tension that saw has. I don't know if you can see that, but cordwood saw shouldn't have tension like that. Of course, we just heated, but it's not that hot there. I'll let that cool off, see if it still has it. But actually, I can cool it off real quick. A lot of that tension will probably go away because it's a little warm in the middle. Yeah, there she goes. Yeah, I guess didn't have so much as I thought it did. into 3/8. So that saw there will fit right on when we get ready to put it on. Well, do some cleaning here real quick. Let's see, yeah, get belt off of that. Right. Now we're going to take this piece here off because of that. Lay that blade down flat so you don't fall on it and get hurt. Yeah, we'll leave that alone. So what do we got here? We're going to have to cut this piece off because I have to re-weld it and put it where it won't be in the way. I hate that when sometimes these things get just a little small and you can't get nothing done with them.
Hey babe.
How's it going?
I'm gonna go.
Cool.
I'll be back whenever.
Yeah, whenever, yeah. Sounds good. Love ya.
Love you too. Try to black blade this.
Oh, I tried to back blade it a little bit, but it didn't. That was too soft still.
Yeah, too wet.
So,
Alright.
okay, see you in a little bit.
Top is locked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, try this out. Plug it in. Really real simple to do. I don't like grindings to go all over that engine. See if we can't bring this down a little bit. Trying to shield cam gears. I hate to have to torch that, but I might have to. I can get that weld on the top there to crack, then I can roll it right off, I think. But we'll see here what happens. I got a pretty good penetration there when I did it by the looks. And I don't have my big air chisel because I loaned it out, which isn't a good thing, but I did it anyway. Looks to me like it broke. Let's see if that thing will roll. A little more. Beautiful. Well, yeah, that's simple enough. Put the grinder on, do a quick cleanup. Anybody's wondering, this is a white truck frame that this is mounted on. My father had a couple of them kicking around the farm, and he always dragged them home because they didn't have any bends in them. They're perfectly straight. You could make good trailer out of them. And when I was, I guess, 16 or 17 years old, this was on a stand on wooden planks that we pulled around with the tractor. The old Super C, which is sitting over there. When I grew up, that's the only tractor we had. That's all we farmed with. You know, you didn't stop baling until you was done raking. You just kept swapping equipment. But anyway, getting back to this, we still got the old base frame to this that my great-grandfather bought brand new. And well, it was my great-great-grandfather. I take that back. He bought it brand new, and it was always a pain. You had the wood splitter, you had to lug around. And when I was, like I say, about 17 years old, I come home from school one day. I went down back and found an old trailer axle. All we had was an old Lincoln buzz box. And I started, you know, hacksawing and cutting and welding back together. And this is what I came up with. And I did it wrong. If you ever do something like this again and you got a Clark wood splitter, put the Clark wood splitter on the back so that you don't have much tongue weight. This trailer has a immense amount of tongue weight, probably well over 1,000 pounds, because that Clark wood splitter is 1,100 pounds, that engine there is 680, and you know, all the planks, and this doesn't weigh much to offset it. So I did this ass backwards, just saying. But anyway, it's never bothered me enough to redo it. But if I was going to do another one, I would do it different. I'm going to shut you guys off a little bit because I don't know where. I was sanding another blade and I couldn't find my sanding disc earlier to just clean up the eye there. I'm going to shut the camera off for a minute and do about a 10-minute search, you know, since you sat here looking at nothing. So anyway, I'll be back. Well, I'm back, everybody. Got you down here looking at the saw. I do realize that this is a 6-inch on a 5-inch, but my 6-inch back, I bent the pin on it. It bound up on me one day when I was getting in a tight spot, and I bent it and ruined it. And about a month ago, I ran out of the 5-inch. So, yeah, it's the wrong one, but that's all we're going to do. Just get the surface rust off of it. I'll rotate that around. Oh, that's a heavy blade. Of course, these blades, they never make a comfortable spot where you can grab a hold of them. Ah, yeah, that saw in its former life had a pretty big collar on it. I'm only going to have one about 1 inch smaller. That's all right. We'll get this on. See how messed up we are as far as this clearance, and you know, there's a few things here that could bite us, but I don't think it will. Actually, I'll move you guys over to the other side here. Yeah, got that going down the dirt. Dull it all up. Not that it's not that sharp, but no sense to hurry it. Get you over here where you can see. That should be a little better. Okay. Around the right side. I was lucky enough that this eye is the same. Fit right on there, just like that. Beautiful. Good. That's going to hit. So, how much is it going to hit is the big question. I still got another 2 inches to go. So, it's all right. It's not going to hit the wood when we're rolling. So it's not too big that way. This is the only way that it's a little too large. And this has been bent, so I think what I'll do, this is bent out, I think I'll probably bring these together and push this up and see. I'll get a clamp out here and put the heat to it. I might even do it cold. Get us some Nevesees. Probably will still stick like heck when, because I probably won't take it off again for 10 years or more. No reason to, as long as it's cutting good and it's safe, you know, that's the big thing. Like I say, I thought it might be a little dangerous where it had that real weird wobble to it. And of course, none of these blades being, you know, anywhere from 50 to 100 years old, none of us really know the history of them. So you just got to kind of have your eyes wide open and pay attention. There's that. There's the tool. I got kind of lucky. That's the same size as a bell saw. Put that and that and that. Pick up a few of these tools here before I lose them. So, now, guess we'll worry about this next. Yeah, I'm 2 inches from bottoming out. Come back another 2 inches. I got to get this up at least 1.5 inches, because I'd like to have 1 inch clearance on it actually. I'm glad I didn't put all my tools away. Most of the tools I need are right here. A friend of mine come over and we had a heck of a job doing some spring work. So I had a lot of tools left out. We've been working in the greenhouse, so this is kind of the first day that I've really had much time to, that ain't gonna work good. And I have to put the heat to that as I go. So I have to too. I can get a new piece of strap in there. Doesn't really matter. This has got some sawtooth marks in the top of it, so it hit the other one, you know, sometime in its life. Got a plastic sign down there. It wants to go right towards it every time. Take what tension's off over here, and then we'll do the same over there, and then we'll heat it up there and we'll go a little further. Well, the clamp's settling down. That's a good sign. dark in the evening to be able to see what she was doing. It's either going to cure it or we're going to have to go plan B on that. Let's see how she runs. No, I'm not going to be able to gain it. I'm just hitting right there. So there's not enough length in that strap. So we'll end up having to cut that off, which I can do that later. Yeah, I guess the next thing I got to do is get the big welder going. I don't have a Lincoln, well, I do have a Lincoln Buzz box upstairs. I got it just for a spare, but I don't really know much about these things, but yeah, always the phone. Anyway, getting back to it there. This is a Lind, oh, what is it, a 500 amp, I guess, according to what it says. A friend of mine gave it to me years ago, and it's a heck of a welder. I don't mess with the settings much. I leave it on DC reverse and run 7018, and that's basically all I use it for. But that's what we'll be using today, in you know, just in case anybody was curious. I'm gonna see here if I can't get this guard here on. I think this will still be tall enough. You know, put it something like that. At least it will cover the front side of the saw, which is really all I really care about. And then I gotta make sure that, Jesus, oh, well, that's gonna be hot. Pay attention. Okay, that's how far that's gotta go. So when I make that taller, so I gotta make sure that don't go any further back than that. We can make that work. Grind this up a little bit. Oop, drop that over the other side. That's the story of my life, but that's all right. Ooh. Okay, let me get that clamp. Probably some of you old farmers probably recognize this, the John Deere seat bracket. You might say it's too bad to cut it out, but what happened was somebody had shortened it for a short person, and I had got a tractor that the motor had been taken out of, but it had a good seat on it. So I took that and put it on my tractor that I had, and that left this in the iron pile just as a good piece of angle iron. And that's why it's not on the John Deere anymore. So I know a lot of people, they wonder about stuff like that when they recognize stuff, you know. That was the story behind it. Sometimes you ought to have a third hand. Now we'll try this different. If we can hang the top on that, maybe it'll free up a little bit of. That's gonna be too tall. Well, get a little thin board. Now, put this back a little here. I like that when that's up inside a little bit. I'm gonna have to pull on it when I weld it to get it in where it needs to go, but that's all right. We'll get the welder out here. I'll shut you off a minute. Interesting little thing here to tell you. You ever see anybody throw one of these little boogie boards away? Yeah, one of the slickest things you can drag home to, yeah, I guess I hooked that oxygen acetylene on you. They're a real good thing to bring home, you know, especially when you weld. You know, not quite so grounded to the earth, you know. I'm not saying we're grounded machines. Not needing a regular wet ground. It's a lot better that way. Let's see what we can do here to help out this hole. Just need correcting two foot right now. Change the settings. This time the temperature changes, the setting on the amperage changes a little bit. It's just enough to mesh out. A lot of times you don't even change the adjustments. You just go in and just wiggle the knob a little bit. You're welding and weld like a whole different machine. See what happens. kind of like acted like the current fell off. And I said it'll do. And then I didn't change it any, I just wiggled it. And it paints right at me. I don't know. There's something wrong with it. Messed up the control. I have never dug into it because that's about the only activation it is. First try. Obvious. Well, I like it. It's been welded for a minute. Better the further you go with it. Show you the sticks in a minute. I'll take you guys over there real quick. Let you see, you know, I don't know where my wire brush went. I guess it's, that's in here on the floor. But anyway, it's not a bad old welder. It welds a lot better than I do, you know. I mean, I'm not a welder by a damn sight, I'll tell ya. Yeah, that one there don't even want to, the slag don't even want to come off. But anyway, you know, it's not bad. It'll hold that old guide on. And I like to have that on there. When I was a young kid, never had any guide on it at all except for that. And nobody ever got hurt with it. But you know, when you're taking the wood away right here, and you keep twisting and throwing, it gets all slimy and muddy out here. You're trying to throw it down the wood splitter, so some of the bigger wood you're throwing pretty hard. You know, I never liked it. I always did it, never said nothing. But, you know, I mean, I don't really consider myself that much of a candy ass, but some things you know are dangerous, even as a kid. And that was one of them that I knew was pretty dangerous, and it can be if you know, don't pay attention. This is as safe as any machine out there. Chainsaw is probably more dangerous. But the big thing that people do that's really not safe, and you folks probably know just what I'm going to tell you here. Yeah, I know you're a little crooked, but when people go to saw, they're by themselves and they slide their wood over, they reach over here and you start sawing. You know, if a guy should ever have anything happen to him, you know, you have a little mini stroke or anything that makes you dizzy quick, or you slump your head onto this. If you're working over here like you're supposed to be, and you let that drop, or have somebody else take care of it. You know, if a guy passed out, he'd just fall under the table and off the ground probably. I mean, it's not that dangerous. But when people, and I'm guilty of it, don't get me wrong, but when you do that, that's looking for trouble. But you can see down this blade why I was kind of excited about it. The guy had it sharpened back quite a few years ago. And it had the tape on it. As you can see right now through there, looking in against that dark, that's got a very good amount of set. And it's a good heavy blade. I think it's going to make a good one. We're going to be a lot safer now. You know, that old blade over there, we're going to do something with it. Don't know what, but I'm going to shut you folks off now. I'm going to see if I can find some steel to fix that top guard. Basically, that is a pretty simple loop to fix because it's not really part of anything else. It just goes up around the loop and back to here. So it's basically taking off 4 bolts, taking a piece of 1/4x1, and you can, you know, make whatever you need. Real simple. It's just time. But anyway, you know, I hope it was something helpful maybe to somebody. You know, I enjoy doing it. It's kind of fun. So that probably the next video, I'm going to show how to wire up those Model T coils. You know, I have a lot of guys on the engine club. I haven't gone to a show myself in a long time. I'm just too busy, but I'm going to show how this is wired up for a Model T coil. Real simple. It's not much to it. And we'll start this thing up. You see just how this thing operates. It's very simple machine, 4-cycle engine, and I'd like to say it's like a modern engine. Not quite, but pretty close. I mean, it's still got, you know, as guys say, it sucks, squeezes, bang, and exhaust. You know, it's like all the others. But we'll go over it here. I might even do the same video today. I gotta check the time. I gotta go haul a friend's truck for him. One of those other deals. But anyway, hope you folks enjoy. Talk to you later. Hey everybody, I thought I was all done, but all afternoon I've been off and on working on this little project here that I left. You guys didn't really see what I did, but I'll show you what I did here. You knew he was having a problem with this clearing. And basically, I cut the legs right off. You know, they went like that. And I cut them off. We'll throw them into the iron pile. And I put a new piece of angle iron here with a standoff. And now if I move that so I don't knock it off, you can see I got clearance. So that shouldn't ever bother. We got plenty of clearance here. It'll do a pretty good sized chunk of wood now, probably at least a good 10-inch. And the saw's back behind the table. So I think we're in business. It's going to take a little more horsepower to turn it. I hope I got enough. I only got 6 horsepower. But anyway, we'll give it a try. The worst thing we might have to do is put a little bigger pulley on this shaft. That's a 6-inch. We might have to go to a 7. I wouldn't go very much bigger, but you know, you get a lot more leverage out here, so it takes a lot more out of the motor. But anyway, I just thought I'd shoot a quick little end into that so that you folks would see what I finished with. And anyway, that'll be the end of this video here. I'm going to edit this one out, and maybe tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to have a chance tomorrow or not, but at some point here I'm going to start that engine. We'll try this saw, and when I do that I'll bring you along. We'll talk to you later.